welcome to Talk Music, coming to you this week from Bishopstock, this fabulous, this glorious country pile behind us, this wonderful estate in Devon.
Fantastic festival, once the blues but now a music festival. Fantastic array of people on the bill this year. You're going to see in the next half hour Mavis Staples, Bibb, Steve Earle, the fabulous Thunderbirds, Jimmy Vaughan, who's playing behind us.
At this moment, playing behind us.
Sorry about that. And the youngest man on the bill, Nawfel, who's only 14 years old.
Incredible, 14-year-old guitar prodigy. And at the other end of the spectrum, we have the woman we're going to start with, who's the fantastic 72-year-old veteran blues shouter, Koko Taylor. And this is Wang Dang Doodle. Well, Koko, women seem to be slightly underrepresented on the bill, so you're going to have to fly the flag for all of them.
Well, I hadn't noticed that part of it, but I tell you what, I'm going to pick up the slack where they left off. I'm sorry that it's not more women's, but hey, we got to do what we got to do, and I'm here to sing the blues, and I'm going to light them up for all of them. We gonna get some Wang Dang Doodle all night.
From the oldest performer on this year's bill to the youngest, a guitar sensation who's only 14 years old, Nawfel. Nawfel, you're the youngest on this bill by about 50 years. What's it like playing on stage with guys who are 72?
I don't mind if I play with old person or old musician. I don't mind. I played and that's it. I don't mind the age.
When did you start playing blues?
Playing blues at the age of 8.
Did you get a guitar?
Excuse me?
Did you get a guitar then?
Yeah. My father had the guitar. Yeah.
Who are your idols now? You've got a Jimi Hendrix t-shirt on, obviously.
I listen very much Jimi Hendrix and Carlos Santana.
Right.
Eric Clapton too.
Yeah. So are you playing all day to get as good as you are now?
I play just 1 hour for a day. I don't know. If I have homework, I play just 1 minute or 2. If I don't have, I play all the night.
And from my own private showcase at Bishopstock, this is what the crowd got. Well, Talk Music is here still at the Bishopstock Music Festival, and behind me you can hear the fabulous music of Jimmy Vaughan, of course brother of the late Stevie Ray Vaughan, one-time member of the fabulous Thunderbirds, and after this great set, our man Mark Allen will be talking to Jimmy Vaughan.
I learned how to play from a lot of guys, a lot of Texas guys like T-Bone Walker and Albert Collins and Gatemouth Brown and even Guitar Slim and all that sort of school, and Freddie King. And I sort of would like to think that I'm carrying on that tradition in a modern way. I'm still regional, because it seems like all the regional stuff is gone now. It used to be everything. If you go to one part of the country, it had one sound. You go to the next part. Even here, right? Even in England, anywhere, It was, and I always loved that. And so I kind of feel like I'm still carrying on that Texas guitar thing.
Girl, I love you so. I can't believe I lose control. I don't mean no harm, but that's just me.
Do you think with the death of your brother Stevie Ray Vaughan and the various other old blues legends that have quietly slipped away. Do you think the blues needs a new generation of icons or a major crossover hit to keep the popularity of that kind of music going?
I'm sure that will happen, because it always seems to happen, you know. But I don't think it needs it. I mean, it's just always here.
Well, here we are at Bishopstock, where this year one of the headliners was the disaster-prone bad boy of country rock, Steve Earle. And when they took to the stage, the heavens opened and there was just a sea of umbrellas, a virtual monsoon, which is why when Pip talked to him, she talked to him in this little chapel. You can see behind me under the turret there. But this is what he looked and sounded like on stage. It was fantastic. Steve Earle.
The second time I found myself headlining a night on what's essentially a blues festival, and I always wonder what I'm doing here. But it's, I mean, because I grew up in Texas and you know, love the blues. A lot of friends of mine are playing here, but it's, you know, it's sort of a surprise to be asked to do something like this, because I sort of write everything.
And nothing but time has put on mine. Probably could use the rest.
The blues is also a feeling. Yeah, I'd like to say a state of mind, but it's not. It's more of a state of heart. And I'm a recovering heroin addict. If I hadn't been willing to change at some point, I'd be dead right now. And if I'm not willing to keep changing, you know, I'll end up right back where I started again. So change isn't an elective for me. It's a necessity. It's an absolute necessity. But it isn't always fun. Sometimes it's painful, and sometimes it's a lot of work. And so that's where the blues part comes in.
And I ask you, man, what's a fella to do? 'Cause her hair's black and her eyes are blue.
This is the first time that I've completed an album project in years that I didn't have another project half written by the time, you know, the tour started. And I don't have a single song lying around for another record right now, and I'm totally okay with that. What I do have lying around is a play I'm trying to finish, and my book. I've got one more story to finish, and I heard yesterday their plans are to publish my book in the spring of next year, finally. So there's other things I want to do, and it doesn't mean I'm going to stop making records, but I just think musically and artistically I need a little breath between this record and the next record.
There's another place beyond here where I'll be free, I believe.
The last song on Transcendental Blues was the song about the guy on death row.
The song was written for me to help deal with a horrific thing I saw. I was asked to witness an execution in Texas 2 years ago by a guy I'd been writing to. You know, he wrote me, and so I wrote him back, and it developed into a relationship that, you know, we corresponded on a really regular basis. And then when he finally got an execution date, he asked me to witness his execution. His name was Jonathan Nobles. It scarred me for life, but the upside of that is also a gift that Jonathan Nobles gave me, that I oppose the death penalty with every fiber of my being, but I can do it a little differently now. It's not an abstract for me. Most people talk about the death penalty without knowing what they're talking about. I mean, Sister Helen Prejean says that support for the death penalty in the United States is a mile wide, but it's only an inch deep. And what she means by that is that most people support the death penalty without any firsthand knowledge of what it really is and what it really does. I saw this with my own eyes, and what I can do now that I couldn't do before is I can sit here and look you in the eye and tell you that it is murder and it is violence, and that's not an abstract for me. I'm an eyewitness.
Now the DA got a chopper in here, wake up screaming like back over there. And a thing or two from child on the better stay away from Copperhead Road.
Who's been playing here over this weekend that you'd like to bump into, or who you know, who you played with?
Well, some of them I know I'm going to miss because I'm leaving in the morning and this is the first night. But Jimmy Vaughan, who's an old friend and I think the best guitar player in Texas. Susan Tedeschi's on this as well, and I had the pleasure of introducing her at Farm Aid last year, and she's great.
Listen, Tedeschi,
Sensational.
I always wanted to be a girl with a guitar. Sadly, I'm not a girl with a guitar, I'm a girl with a microphone, telling you that in part 2 of Talk Music you can see great performances from Bibb, Mavis Staples.
We've got Taj Mahal, fabulous Thunderbirds, and Jools Holland, so we'll see you in part 2, I hope. Welcome back to Talk Music, coming to you from a mildly rain-lashed field in Devon this week, where we're at the Bishopstock Festival, and we've seen an incredible succession of soul and country and blues legends, and there's more to come.
There's more to come in this half of the show. You can see Bibb, you can see Jools Holland,
The mighty Taj Mahal,
fabulous Thunderbirds, and Mavis Staples. We're going to play Mavis Staples right now, and if you're one of the thousands of people out there who entered the Talk Music competition to win...
I have to say, we've just actually seen the winners. They've just come up to us. They're here having a fantastic time, and I think maybe drink has been taken, actually.
I think so. The question they had to answer to get here was, what was the song that Staples singers sang when they got into the UK charts in 1972? And it was...
the answer, Bibb Dan, was
this song right now. I'll Take You There, sung by Mavis Staples.
Let me take you there. I'll take you there. Let me take you there. I'll take you there. Let me take you there.
Your voice is a fantastic instrument. And how do you maintain? It sounds like you smoke 20 cigarettes a day and gargle with gravel. It's just naturally like that.
No. You know, this is my voice. I've just been blessed. It's my gift, you know. And because I don't know any music, I don't know what key I sing in. It's just from a kid when we started singing. Pops, I would go to all of the gospel programs, and I would hear these, because somebody says, Mavis, you sing more like a man than a lady, you know, my style even. And but we would go and hear these quartet singers, you know, and they would go, you know, and you call that a hoop. And I would be doing that and singing these gospel songs, and I'd go into the hoop, and the people would go, wow. And then all of a sudden, people would come around the stage just putting money in my hand, and tears were streaming down their eyes. So I got home, I asked my mother, I said, Mama, why are they crying like that, and why are they giving me money? And she said, well, Mavis, you're touching them.
On the bill tonight, who would be the acts that you most want to see?
Bibb's, Bibb.
Yeah.
I hear the angels singing to me. Don't wanna hear what you say. I hear the angels sing. Well, just
Well, that was I Heard the Angels Singing, the rousing finale to this fantastic set by Eric Bibb. And Eric is here, slightly breathless, comes straight off stage to tell us about that. So that's a song that, was it written by Reverend Gary Davis? Or who
I don't know if we could say it was written by him. I think it's a song that's been in the folk book for a while. Some of those verses I've heard before, but I associate it with him. It was his version that got me singing that song, yeah.
How old do you think that song is?
Rough guess. Couple of 100 years.
It's incredible.
One of the many highlights on the bill was a man that Pip Dan had an audience with, the one-man, walking, living world music industry himself, a man in a sensational hat, Taj Mahal.
How did you get into playing the blues?
Everybody loves the blues. Everybody has the blues in one form or another. But my thing was at about 13, 14 years old, actually 11, we had a very terrible tragedy. We lost our father. A number of years later, my mother remarried a very good friend of our family. Young man moved in next door. You know, I saw these guys and we started talking. What kind of music you like? Oh, I like blues. I like blues. And I said, I like blues too, man. I love the blues. He said, oh yeah? He said, well, he said, I can play guitar. He said, I wish I had one. And at that point, I had discovered this guitar. And I said, man, I got a guitar. My stepmother's guitar. Come on over here and see. Show me something. This guy can play. Yeah. I mean, he was 15, 14, 15. He could play.
What's the key that keeps it fresh, keeps it alive?
It's a story that never, that you will get bored with if you play it the same way every time. If you go for that thing that's in the moment and improvisation, you know, it just gets to be very exciting.
Kind of get the idea sometimes that blues comes from a lot of pain and a lot of having lived a long time.
So. No, there's that too. It's a wider palette than it's okay, these guys came up, had a hard time. They went through slavery. They went through this, and this. That's part of the picture. There's also good times. There's also love won, love lost, love missed. You know, children. You know, it has the music in its original form. It was about the history and the culture of your society.
It's coming up right now. We've got the fabulous Thunderbirds from Austin, Texas. They're right up there on the bill, and Mark Allen is a huge fan of the lead singer, Kim Wilson. He got to talk to him backstage, but here's the band doing their thing.
Well, I don't look like a king, and I don't drive a big car. The gypsy woman was right when she said I wouldn't go far.
Well, you started out as the Thunderbirds as the house band in a bar in Texas when you were, I don't know, about 18,
Antones.
I think. Antones, that's right. And you were backing all sorts of people, Buddy Guy and Muddy Waters. And
yeah, we met Muddy back then, and I remember being on the stage with John Lee Hooker, Sonny Lance Slim, Hubert Sumlin, and Eddie Taylor all at the same time.
When you walk down the street, you better go tweet. When you walk down the street, you better go tweet.
And we got to do a lot of crazy things and get away with it. It was very nice.
What kind of crazy things are we alluding to?
Well, you know, like sex in the bathroom behind the stage while Jimmy Reed's playing, you know, stuff like that. It was very a lot of cool stuff.
Some education.
Yeah. Listening all the time, though, you know. trying to pick something up.
You had a most extraordinary level of success. I mean, in a sense, you know, your success in the early 80s sort of kick-started a whole revival.
Not very many people really know that, though, what you're talking about. We came in and we just had this thing that people liked. And it wasn't something that you learned out of books. It was just something that you just spit out, you know, and I think that's what people really dug. I always believed, when I used to go see people like Ray Charles and Muddy Waters and all those great musicians, they didn't have hit records for 30 years. And people always came out to see them because they knew they were going to get a great show and some great music. And that's really where I've always wanted to be. Not a slave to it. If it happens, fine, you know, the commercial success, whatever the flavor of the day is. But that's great. But really, the meat and potatoes is just the low-down gut bucket blues, you know?
Well, everybody's mellowing out now. It's just about the end of Bishopstock 2000. We have had a fantastic 3 days.
But 3 days of music, artfully crammed into 30 minutes. We're winding up now. It's just getting dark. Incredible scenes. Grown men and women standing on folding chairs behind us, punching the air. And we shall leave you in the very capable hands of Jools Holland and his very fabulous Rhythm and Blues Orchestra.
See you next week.
Thank you. You've been such a lovely, beautiful, individual crowd. I've looked at each one of you carefully and I've decided it's all lovely. You can come home with me.